Juan Pablo Montoya said, quote, "The Goodwood Festival of Speed Hill Climb was the narrowest, bumpiest, least grippy course I've ever driven, but I loved it." End quote.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fast Cars Go Vroom. This is the podcast where we aim to help you learn something about automobile racing, boat racing, anything that races, anything that goes fast, anything that burns fuel, has tires. Maybe it doesn't have tires. Maybe they are trying to get to the finish line first. Some of them are trying to demolish each other's vehicles first. It might be on the ground, might be in the water, might be in the air. But we want to talk about things that are interesting, things you might not have ever heard before, and things that are just straight up weird when it comes to racing. So my name is Clint.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 7 of Fast Cars Go Vroom. We're getting comfortable here. Oh, I think we've talked about this.
Droop waffles.
Yes, yes. Those are excellent. Now I need a cup of coffee.
Heck yeah. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I am traveling again for work. I am in the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada right now. But excited to get into this, man. What's going on?
Last episode, we had a technical glitch and we had to re-record everything. And my initial topic for last week, I realized I had way too much information. So I'm going to spread it out over my little topic now and my detailed topic later. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn the lights down low. Mine only turn off. Anyway, we're talking about good wood.
Did you say Goodwood?
Yes, I did. Goodwood. In all seriousness, it's Goodwood Estate. There's a circuit on that estate. This place is huge. The Goodwood Estate covers 12,000 acres to the north of Chichester. The Goodwood Estate Company is a diverse portfolio of businesses which include Goodwood Racecourse, 4,000-acre organic farm, 2 18-hole golf courses, the Goodwood Aerodrome and Flying School, and a 91-bedroom hotel. Wait. Also on the estate are the Goodwood Cricket Club and the headquarters of Rolls-Royce Motor Cars.
The headquarters of Rolls-Royce is at Goodwood?
That's what it says.
So has it always been there? I wonder if it's always been there, if they relocated there later.
I don't know. That I have to look up later. But this place is huge. So like I said, it's at Chichester. Dude, this place is English and I can't say it.
Chichester?
Yep.
Chichester?
We'll just say Chichester. We'll just say it's West Sussex, England. Good idea. Oh shit, that's Australia.
That is Australia, that is not England.
So the Goodwood Estate, the whole estate, that big 12,000 acres I was telling you about, is home to the Duke of Richmond, or the Dukes of Richmond, for over 300 years. I am just going to send you this picture of the man who opened the racing circuit, and you tell me if this guy isn't the most British-looking dude you've ever seen.
So what makes it? Oh, yeah, that's what makes him British. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's his name again?
That is the 9th Duke of Richmond.
Okay.
What's important about him, pre-war, he was actually a renowned amateur racer. World War II happened, and he donated part of his land, part of that estate, for the British RAF to create a base called RAF West Hampton. The war ends, and now there's just this airfield on this property. What is he going to do with it? They don't need it anymore. It was a support base. Just like Silverstone, he and a friend said, we're going to try to open a race course. So they opened a race course 2.3 miles. Well, since we're in Britain, 3.8 kilometers. They used parts of a defunct airstrip to make a course. They opened the course at September 18th of 1948. And for about 18 years they raced. and they had non-championship F1 races there. And the last race was in 1965, and it had a double lap record set. There were two guys who set it, and you've heard of them, Sir Jackie Stewart and Jim Clark.
Okay.
In the early 50s, they ran a couple different endurance races, the Goodwood 9-hour and the Tourist Trophy. And the Tourist Trophy actually, I believe, continues to this day, but during the late 50s and early 60s, they ran it on this track. They closed this place in 1966 because the owners, I guess the Duke, did not want to modify the track anymore with more chicanes because the cars were getting so fast, it was way too dangerous. But they just didn't want to keep the upkeep. So they closed it down in 1966. Now, the sports we love, the motorsports, we know they're dangerous. Sir Sterling Moss ended his international racing career there. He had a wreck. He did do some racing in England afterwards, but his career basically stopped at a wreck at Goodwood. And this car behind me, this car is the McLaren M8D Can-Am. It was a prototype. And Bruce McLaren was testing this car, and he passed away on the Levant Straight right before Woodcote Corner. Not to bring our podcast down, but we do have to be aware that the sports we love are dangerous, and this happens. So I put the M8D behind me just in tribute.
Awesome. Questions about that car. Do you know what? I wonder what that body is made out of. If it's fiberglass or sheet metal.
Really cool. I'll have to look it up. I do have a cool fun fact. So early scale electrics, the electric slot cars. So the early scale electrics was modeled on the Goodwood circuit.
Okay.
They even had like toy hay bales that were at the chicane. That's pretty neat.
It's interesting to see how far we've come safety wise in general. Like looking at that car and talking about hay bales, things are very, very different when it comes to safety these days. Technology is improved from the power plant of these cars all the way through the safety of it to aerodynamics, all of it.
Have you ever seen the Paul Ricard circuit in France? They have it's nauseating to look at, but they have these striped pinstripe, but paint, and on the paint is some sort of some abrasive material, and the different colors as it goes towards the wall, the material is thicker and grittier, and it slows the car down. It screws the tires all to hell, but it slows the car down. It's really unique. Back to Goodwood real quick. I'm just telling you all this because there are two events. When we get back to it, there are two events that I would like to tell you about. But first, I want to hear more about Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, this town is everything everybody says it is. There's a lot going on here. It's one of the newer race sites in F1 racing,
Yeah, it is.
but it has a history of spectacle, right? So behind me, you see Caesar's Palace and the fountains at Caesar's Palace. And if you're my age, you're probably very familiar with Evel Knievel and his famous stunt here. So I want to talk a little bit about the history of that and some interesting stuff about it when it happened in 1967 when Evel Knievel jumped those fountains there, cleared the fountains, but didn't necessarily stick the landing. So a little bit of a history lesson here about how it came to be, right? Now, when looking back on it, I wasn't alive in 67, obviously, but it looks like this major TV event, but that was not the case. So this is the event that really put Evel Knievel on the map. He, at the time, was doing stunts at like county fairs and local dirt tracks and things like that. And he had this idea, and he thought that it was going to be the thing to take him to the next level. And it absolutely did. But I say that so that you know that the people at Caesar's Palace had no idea who Evel Knievel was when he came up with this idea. So he had to figure out a way to make this thing happen, right? How to get in touch with the right person in order to make it happen. So Evel basically created some personas and started calling the owner of Caesar's Palace, his name's Jay Sarno, calling him and pretending to be different people. So one time he pretended to be a sports attorney from New York, saying he had this great idea this talent, you know. Another time he pretended to be a representative of ABC's Wide World of Sports. He pretended to be a promoter, just kept calling, this persistent, trying to get the guy on the phone to get him to listen to him because
That's
he,
genius.
yeah, even if he did know who he was, he would have thought, man, this is a like a county fair carnival act, you know? So then he took it to the next level. He flew to Vegas, stayed at Caesar's Palace, dressed in his, you know, he had this real flamboyant American red, white, and
Yeah.
blue garb. He dressed in really flamboyant clothes and just hung out in the lobby until he eventually got to talk to Sarno and made this thing happen. Now that is entrepreneurship
That's
and marketing
genius.
at its finest.
He was his own PR team. That's great.
He was his own PR team. So yeah, so the stunt, Evel Knievel, if you're looking there, I believe he jumped left to right on your screen over the fountains. It was 141 feet, and he did clear, landed on the other side, and came off the bike. The impact of the landing was really intense. Came off the bike, flipped, and he broke his femur, broke his pelvis, broke multiple bones, ended up in the hospital. Uh, so a lot of people think this might have been live on TV. It was not live on TV. It was filmed by Evil's wife with a 16 millimeter camera and then broadcasted later. So this was
Wow.
not, yeah, this was not the huge television broadcast that I had the perception that it was.
Yeah.
It was something that he did, documented, and then gave the footage to somebody later. I say all that to point out that history made it more than it actually was on that day. Obviously, he was the first one to try to do it, and then it became this thing, like this that people wanted to try to accomplish. Gary Wells tried it in 1980, ended up in a very similar situation. He crashed on the other side, also broke his pelvis and legs. And then in 1989,
Sorry, that's a
Robbie,
sign. If everyone is breaking your pelvis, that's a sign. That's a
yeah,
sign. Don't do this.
yeah. Then again, 1989, Robbie Knievel actually clears the fountains and lands it on the other side. So,
Oh, he landed it.
yeah, yep. And he, before the jump, he told the crowd, he's like, "This is for you, Dad." Cleared him perfectly, and then rode away on the other side.
That is
So that one had huge TV ratings. And then later, Mad Mike Jones in 2001 doing a Superman grab, kind of showing off.
You said 2001?
Yeah, that was 2001 when he did it.
I'm surprised they're like letting people still do it in the new millennium.
Oh, there's
I don't
been
know.
several more. 2018, Mr. Motorsports himself, Travis Pastrana. I just made that name up for him. That's not a thing, I don't think, but it is now.
He'll probably
Um,
take it. I
yeah,
don't I
probably
don't see
take it.
him denying that. I mean, it's true.
So he did it and wore a tribute suit that we were talking about earlier, the Americana leathers.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and he also did it on an Indian Scout, similar to the one Evo used when he jumped.
That's really cool. I'm glad you're on location. We need to send you to more places.
I did walk down there yesterday, and you know, you see things on TV, and then you get there, and you're like, wait a minute. I mean, it's beautiful, but you know, some things have been rearranged. There's like a staircase over here on this side now, and they're building something over here on this side, so it doesn't look like what it did in those old videos. But all right, so there's a part two. You got some events at Goodwood.
Yes, there is a part two. I have two major events actually.
Tell me the
So the
things.
so the very first one is the Goodwood Festival of Speed. It's not at the actual Goodwood circuit. It's at the Goodwood Historical House. Now, there's a couple different events at the Festival of Speed, but the big thing is the hill climb. And I went to the Goodwood website, and it says there were a few events starting in 1936 at this hill climb area, but it was basically for the Duke and a group of Lancia enthusiasts. It doesn't have much detail on it, and I'm assuming when the war hit, it probably was done and over with. But if we fast forward to June 30th of 1993, the Lord March, that's your title before you become Duke, he opened the Festival of Speed. So the Lord March, he wanted to basically bring back racing to Goodwood. The problem was he didn't have any permits to open up the circuit to bring actual racing back. So instead, he hosts this festival on his estate. The big thing is this hill climb. And the hill climb is, again, we're going British here, people, 1,890 meters long. That's 1.17 miles long. So the climb, 92.7 meters from start to finish, which is 304 feet. And it starts at the historic Goodwood House. And there are two sections that just jumped out of the page. One is called Molecomb Corner. I hope I said that right. I know how to say the word mole, and I know how to say the word comb, but when you put them together, Molecomb.
This is like a thesaurus challenge.
Yeah, it
All
is.
of
It
this is
totally is.
mole comb corner. Do moles
Yeah,
have combs? Like
they
like a
should. They're hairy,
rooster
aren't they?
comb? I don't know.
Stop it. Get some
That's
help.
hilarious.
Well, the reason why this stood out is because this is a left-hander on the course that is responsible for the most accidents. The name is silly as shit, but it's dangerous. The one that really stood out, they call it the wall. And it's a narrow section that has stone walls on either side, obviously. I don't know why they named it the wall because the nickname for it is even better. The nickname for it is called the meat grinder.
Huh?
The meat grinder. Okay.
Yes, the meat grinder.
The meat grater.
When you think of a hill climb, my brain thinks of like the dune buggies going up a dirt hill, that type of off-road thing. This is not that. This is designed for speed. Manufacturers come, they show off their current tech, they show off prototypes, things they're developing. There is some fancy, fancy cars going on this track. Right now, the current record was set back in 2002. It was set by Max Chilton. It's an electric McMurdy Spearling. Have you ever heard of that car?
No.
Me neither.
It's
So,
it's electric?
yeah, it's an electric car. And the record that it set, again, remember, this is a 1.17 mile course going uphill, 39.081 seconds. Juan Pablo Montoya said, quote, "The Goodwood Festival of Speed hill climb was the narrowest, bumpiest, least grippy course I've ever driven, but I loved it." End quote. So this hill climb is like the featured race. A lot of cool stuff going on with this. But it's a festival of speed. There's other events. Here's one for you. The Soapbox Challenge.
Okay.
They start on the hill climb right at the finish line and they go in reverse. So they just let gravity take them downhill and run back down to the Goodwood House. There's a forest rally stage, and that was started in 2005. And right at the top of the hill, and they have a closed forest circuit at the top there, and they do rally stages. And the Cartier style at Lux. Yeah, it's French. It's an auto show, and it's similar to the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. They're
Nope.
just these high-end makes and models, things that I would never, ever have enough money to be allowed to look at, let alone buy. They have this thing, the central display. It's 1997. They've had this each year. There's a new monument that they put on the front lawn, and they use actual cars.
Whoa.
It is. It's
That's
the same
pretty cool.
artist, different theme, different cars every year.
I want that in my house.
I don't think we have enough real estate at either of our houses to put that thing on there.
Those are pretty cool.
It's really, really neat.
Nice.
But what's neater is the sister event. We're going to go.
back in time.
It's called the Goodwood Revival. It's a 3-day festival, and it reopened the Goodwood circuit exactly 50 years to the day. So on September 18th, 1998, Lord Marsh reopened the track using the exact same Bristol 400 that his grandfather used to originally open the track. They did the first lap in the same car 50
Wow.
years apart. He probably wore the same clothes that Grandpa wore because what makes this festival super unique is that when you come in, you have to have a period car, you have to have period clothes. They have theatrical sets placed around the grounds that are to the period of 1950. And they also bring in the aircraft that were used at that time to place around different parts of the airfield. You cannot bring modern cars onto the grounds. The only modern cars allowed are ambulances, fire trucks, and police cars.
Okay.
There's a handful of races throughout the whole weekend. There's about 9 or 10, but I'm going to tell you a couple that just stood out that are really fun. The Sir Sterling Moss Trophy. It's a 1-hour race for GTs manufactured up to the year of 1963. The St. Mary's Trophy. This is a Pro-Am with 2 25-minute races. They add up the times. Fastest one is the winner. The Whitsun Trophy. This is a 20-minute race for all the prototypes that were used during that period up to 1966. This one's the fun one. The Setrington Cup. It's a pedal car race.
A pedal car race.
Yeah, so it's for kids, obviously, but they do a pedal car race, and they're specific. It's the Austin J40 pedal car. They all have the same car, so it's a spec series.
We got to see what kind of talent you got. We're leveling the playing field. That's funny. Nice.
Really, really cool.
That's pretty cool. How do you get in?
Well, first, you need the right clothes. Marry into the Duke of Richmond. Hold on, let me see this. Goodwood.
Is it on Ticketmaster?
Nope.
Tickets and packages. Here we go.
Oh, they're hot.
There are tickets and packages. So it's happening this year from the 18th to the 20th of September. Admission and grandstand package, £157 per person. That's not bad.
No.
Camping, $225 per pitch. Well, pounds per pitch. And that's sold out already. The barracks. Put your feet up and enjoy the delicious food on offer at your own private base. £360 per person.
Nice. Still cheaper than the F1.
Oh, everything is cheaper than F1.
This campground doesn't look a whole lot different than the IndyCar race near my house.
Just with a little less red on the neck, but okay.
Oh. Well, this looks like a good time.
It does.
Awesome, man. That's good stuff. I really dig the vintage cars.
Awesome, my friend. That was a good chat.
We appreciate you guys coming and learning about this stuff today. If you have never heard of Evel Knievel before, I will not be surprised. Evel Knievel was way before YouTube. But check it out. He didn't just jump these fountains. He also tried to jump the Grand Canyon. He's a good character. And check out these images of Goodwood. Check that stuff out. But more importantly, make sure you come back here next Monday for the next episode of Fast Cars Go Vroom. We will see what we can dig up to talk about. Hopefully you learn some things. We definitely want you to laugh a little bit. Leave us a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe so you know when these episodes come out. Give us some comments. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you know about some of this stuff that we don't know. We want to know who's listening out there. So awesome. Rob, anything else before we go?
Just want to say thanks to everyone out there. Appreciate you.
Yep, appreciate you. Appreciate you listening. So, all right. Until next time, have a great week, and we'll see you next time here on the next episode of Fast Cars Go Vroom.
You are muted.
Good. It wouldn't be a Zoom call if somebody didn't talk while they were muted. It is one of the newer sites in
where the fuck am I?
F1.
Speaking of Pastrana, I saw a video of him last week. It was the Gymkhana type stuff they do. He took this car and he was doing donuts around he was at a pier. He was doing donuts around some like buoy or something that was sitting on the pier. And then he was going so wide, he was able to get both back wheels off the dock as he's coming around.
Like drifting?
As he's drifting around. So the two front wheels are still keeping the turn while the two back wheels are now off in the air while he's on this dock pier thing, and he just comes around, and they have the camera set up on the windshield to see his face, and you can
Yeah.
see his eyes go, boom.
You feel the back of the car.
Don't think he was ready for that one.
Yeah, you can feel the back of that car sit down a little bit. And like,
Uh-huh.
oh, there's nothing but water.
The whole mid of the body is just scraping on the edge of that deck.
Yeah.
No,
That's crazy. He's
he's
crazy.
insane. He's
I
crazy.
wonder how many bones he's broken.
I don't know. That I wonder if that's Googleable. I'll have to find that out.
Is that like a privacy?
HIPAA laws or
I'm
anything.
sure, I guarantee you it's posted somewhere. It says official count is often cited as being over 90 broken bones.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's in a car, people. He's in a car.
Gemini says Travis Pastrana is a living, breathing X-ray study.
You are telling the truth.
That's funny.
So I forget the exact day I said it was. 50 years to the day. God, I can't talk.
Well, duh.
Hello,